Hey everyone, Brian from Bear Traders here. It's December the 12th, getting close to Christmas. And of course, this is Sunday. This is the weekend video where we'll take a look at what happened last week and look ahead, see where things are going next week. And of course, I haven't been posting over the last week or so. I did take a bit of a vacation. Everybody needs a little getaway. And last week was the week I decided to take off. But we're back in the saddle here, and let's get down to taking a look at where we're going next week. So let's start out. Take a look at what happened last week. And you can see here basically what happened. The COVID variant fears kind of abated as more information came out about how the seriousness of illnesses. So that was relief for the markets. We had a significant rebound last week. We'll take a look at that in a minute, some of the charts. But now the area of concern really remains inflation and what sort of future Fed actions are going to take place to address that issue. And they've definitely become more what everybody calls hawkish on this whole issue. And we're going to hear more about that this week. Areas of strength and weakness, it's kind of interesting. We've seen a rotation of capital into some consumer staple stocks. The utilities are catching a bid here, and some of the other stocks are struggling. So again, we'll get into that in a minute. SPY closed at an all-time high. Wasn't an all-time high, but it closed at an all-time high. So SPY continues to show strength through this week. IWM really a false breakout, fell back into the trading range we've been into 2021. So keeping an eye on that. And of course, Bitcoin's been getting a bit of a shellacking here. It is down at its 200-day moving average, been holding there. And again, a break of the 52,000 level on Bitcoin will indicate possibly a reversal of this downtrend. So let's take a look at some of our charts. And before we get to the charts, I always like to throw in a quick plug for my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade, Rules, Routines, Strategies of a Swing Trader that I use. So it's there on Amazon. So let's get down and take a look at some of the markets charts here. So I always like to start out with the bond market because it's the larger market of the markets. And just keeping an eye on this 210 2-year versus the 10-year. You can see here I've had a nice rounding bottom of as I've mentioned in previous videos on the 2-year. It's creeping up here. Like to keep an eye on that because if the 2 and the 10 get really close and they start to cross, then there is more concern about possible recession. So you can see here this is the 10-year. We're really stuck in this range around 1.5, 1.4, and after this bit of a breakout of a pennant, and it's really gone pretty much nowhere since. So we are creeping up on the 2-year, but still well below the 10-year. So no big concern yet there. Transports, again, we just seem to be on a daily basis. We had a little bit of a pop there on Friday, but really over the week, just pretty much stuck in that range. And again, transports for the week, we had a nice little rebound after this sort of COVID fear sell-off, and nice little rebound back up on some volume. And so we'll be watching to see if we just sort of remain stuck in this range as we go forward here. The Dow, again, nice pop up on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Broke out on Friday. Again, nice close on the day on Friday. Really strengthened at the close. And again, a pretty good looking week overall, up over 4% on the Dow. And again, we did it on a little less volume than the selling that happened on last week, but pretty decent bounce back here. We still are sort of trading now sort of flat in a bit of a range here. You can see here we broke this channel, and we've been sort of trading sideways here, and I suspect that that's probably what we're going to do into the end of the year. The Qs, the technology sector, again, we do seem to be, big pullback here last week, and then we had this nice comeback on relief of some of the COVID concerns, but I still think inflation is going to weigh on some of these tech high PE multiple stocks as we go forward. and how the Fed's going to address inflation with their interest rate policy. But you can see here, nice rebound on the week last week after a little bit of relief there. As already mentioned, you can see here volume a little bit lighter than the selling that happened on the previous week. So again, we do seem to be maybe stuck in a bit of a range here. The SPY, as I mentioned earlier, closed at an all-time high, was not an all-time high. You can see here we actually were up quite a bit higher and then pulled back on that day. But you can see here we did manage a close at an all-time high. So anyway, that's SPY still looking pretty good after this nice pullback, and which I think a lot of our traders took advantage of on this nice bounce. You can see here stochastics. Love this stochastics pattern when the slow moving average it gets crossed by the fast. It's always a nice indication for a reversal there. And you can see here again, nice move back up on the SPY, right back up to all-time high here. The IWM has really been, has really taken a bit of a beating here. We really got sold off in the last week or two. And you can see here, we look at the weekly chart, we literally are back in this trading range that we started to develop all through 2021, and sort of in this range between sort of 212 and 230. So we are sort of stuck in this range. The IWM not really performing very well at all, well off the high of the week here, and again we had a big selling day, or selling week I should say, previous week, and a bit of a comeback on some better than average volume, but nothing compared to the selling. So look for some continued probably weakness in the in this index. I'd be watching those trading ranges again for another breakout. And the dollar really just sort of chopping in a range here. We had this nice move up, and now we're just pulled back. We're just consolidating. Again, last week, as the markets recovered, the VIX just got sucked back again, right back down into this area of probably resistance or support, I should say, around 16. So again, VIX reacting to the strength in the markets that we saw last week. And here you can see Bitcoin, as I mentioned, just holding this 200-day moving average. You can see here we dropped below it on this flash crash, came back up again, and then we managed to hold here just above it. And to really start to break out here, if you imagine a line, I won't do it, take the time to do it, but if you imagine a line here, probably 52,000 is this downward trend line. If we can break and hold above that, then I'd be watching for that as a reversal, indication of a reversal in trend. But at this point in time, we are still trending down with this very important 200-day moving average acting as support now. So that's for your Bitcoin fans. Let's take a quick look at what we've got on watch here. You can see Apple had a tremendous week last week, just ripped higher here. We're really overbought on this. That's my only comment. And I would say, you look at the volume here. The volume's been outstanding on this breakout, and just really overbought. You can see here that RSI is really up into that overbought range. Stochastics do seem to be rolling over here, and I think might be in for at least a pause, or maybe even a bit of a pullback here and consolidation. But I definitely would not be taking an entry here. Not that it couldn't go higher, but I think you'd be buying at or near a near-term top here. But Apple, outstanding performer, and been a fairly good day trader too. AMD, I've been looking at this one. It's it had a really beautiful run here on this pullback, on this long period of consolidation, and now we're getting a bit of a pullback. This 135 level looks kind of interesting. We did hold that level last week, as we did or on Monday. So I would say that you could trade this off 135. Disney, I was watching this for actually last week. I did take a long on it when it was watching at around 148, held there, and then I came back up on Friday. So I am long Disney right now. So Disney looking like it found a bit of a bottom here. DraftKings also, I'm looking at this, maybe found a bit of a bottom here last week. Let's take a quick look at the daily because this is a weekly chart. So you can see here we put in a bottom around 28 and a half, closing in that range. So again, we're getting a bit of a pullback here. I'd be looking for maybe a higher low if we can hold this 30 level going into next week. We may be getting a bit of a, finally be getting a bit of a bounce here on DraftKings after this pretty significant sell-off. I was looking at this and I was mentioning that this loss of 48 here was going to be a pretty good opportunity to get short, and that was back in November. And let's get back down to Facebook. I'm looking at here. Facebook looks like it's sort of topping out here around 335, so could be a short here, and if it breaks above 335, then we could be heading back up to, you know, sort of 345 area. So sort of at a make or break area for Facebook. Lots of regulatory concerns and still some challenges with Facebook, obviously. PayPal, again, sort of same comment as DraftKings. It kind of looks like I'd be looking for either a double bottom or maybe a this to put in this to hold this level to hold here, maybe pulling back to this gap to 185 and then seeing if it holds there. If it does, maybe we'll be putting in a bottoming pattern on PayPal. Snap, again, nice pullback. Let's take a look at the daily, get a little more granular. Again, maybe putting in a bit of a head and shoulders pattern here. This 50 level is obviously fairly important for it to hold, and again could be a long at that point. Again, we'll have to go back to this, and then Tesla. Tesla, again, this 1,000 level seems to be extremely important. They seem to be trying to defend this level. It drops below there, but then comes back up. So again, watch this the 1,000 level on Tesla. Really liking that for opportunities to trade, and make sure and just to see it continue to hold that 1,000 level. Let's finish up by taking a quick look at some of the sectors that we're performing here, and I just wanted to point out a few things. You can see technology still strong here, still looking good. The one sector I really liked here was XLP, which is the staples. You can see here long period of sort of resistance at 73, big breakout on Friday. So staples and utilities, sort of same thing here. 68 was a level of prior resistance, and big breakout on utilities. Of course, utilities and staples are safety trades, if you want to call them that. They're defensive, and it seems like there is money rotating into these sort of more safe investments. And so just keep an eye on these. I think I'll be looking at getting an entry on these probably next week, the staples, based on maybe a continued move higher on staples. So let's wrap things up. Let's take a look ahead and see what we can look forward to here. The Qs, I'm watching the support around 390 and resistance around 400. The SPY, again, we closed at an all-time high. Support's around 470. Resistance is pretty much at the high, around 473. So watch for a break of that higher. Dow, got resistance at 36,300. Or I should say, and then that's wrong. It should be, and then we've got support around 34,600. No, that's correct. It's just quite a bit of a range there. IWM, again, as I mentioned earlier, we're just stuck in a range here. We're back in this 212 to 232 range. A break one way or another out of those that range, that trading range, will be significant. Again, overall, watch these high multiple stocks. They continue to see selling pressure due to sort of inflation pressures and how the Fed's going to react to that. And rotation, as I mentioned, seems to look like it's going into the defensives like the XLP. Um, Overall, the market internals look pretty weak. We've got a lot of stocks that are, I'd say, more stocks trading below their 50-day moving average than above, and the 200 pretty split. But again, market internals are not looking that strong. Economic events that we got coming up this week: Fed meeting on Wednesday, so we're going to get more clarity on how they're going to be dealing with all this inflation that's going on. There's a lot of concern there, and so that should be add to a little bit of volatility in the market this week. And for earnings, we do have some earnings. As we know, the earnings season is pretty much wrapped up, but we do have Trip.com. That'll should be interesting. Get a bit of a read on the travel industry, and then we've got Adobe and before the market open, and FedEx on the close. So just to wrap things up, this is what the futures look like right now. We've got everything pretty much in the green. Dow another 138 points roughly, adding, in the S&P looking like it's going to open higher. Same with the Nasdaq, and same with the Russell. So something can happen between now and the open, but that's the way things are looking. So hopefully you enjoyed the show, and we'll look forward to seeing you. 8 o'clock, we'll be starting the pre-market show with Jared, and then 8:30, Norm and somebody else, not Carlos, he's on vacation, will be taking you through the pre-market action. And then, of course, we'll be trading the market open at 9:30. Hopefully you can join us there. Have a great rest of the weekend, everybody, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye for now.